Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at one of the new archetypes that's been doing the rounds recently, and that is Mega Lopunny with Dusknoir. This reminds me a lot of when that weird Terrapagos deck was running around with double turbo energy, and they were playing Dusknoir as their backup and everything, and obviously, you know, buffing their health and everything. Reminds me a lot of that, but this has a bit more of an aggressive approach thanks to the Gale Thrust for 230. It's a lot less energy requirement and also bench space. So it is actually a pretty good deck. Although, looking at the matchup data, it's not too impressive. So as per usual, in the description below, there's going to be usual links. There's the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play and the outro, what I think of the deck. So, of course, we are taking another look at Mega Lopunny. Obviously, I've already covered the Hopzation version that I made. And the Hopzation version worked pretty dang well. If memory serves, it went undefeated in that video. So it did pretty well. Obviously, Spiky Hopper was really useful in that regard, because obviously we was able to get through Neutralization Zone. But we did get to use Gale Thrust quite a bit. Obviously, Gale Thrust for 1 colorless energy does 60 plus. If this Pokemon moved from your bench to the active spot during his turn, or during your turn, this attack does 170 more damage, so that's 230 damage. Combine that with Dusknoir, you're basically taking out anything in the format, apart from a Venusaur, or a Mega Venusaur, that is. And as you can imagine, that is pretty brutal to have. We also have the option, as I mentioned, of Spiky Hopper, but obviously we are going to have to double attach. We don't really play a way to Turbo Energy onto this thing, because obviously we only need to really play Jet Energy and Enriching, and that's about it. So Gale Thrust is pretty much going to be our main attack. Obviously, we do play other Pokemon to help support us. We're playing 2 copies of the Mega Kangaskhan. We're not going to be attacking with this dude. He's purely here for draw. Obviously, Run, Errand, Draw 2 is pretty good. I mean, I say we're not going to attack with it. You could, but it would take 3 of your 5 energy, and there's no way to recycle special energy in the format. In Expanded, that wouldn't be a problem, but because special charge exists, but you know, that's not really what we want to be using. Obviously, the main, shall we say, antagonist of this deck is, of course, the Dusknoir. A stage 2, 160 HP Pokemon, which, trust me, that is not going to matter, because we're just going to be blowing him up with his Curse Blast. Once during your turn, you may put 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. Now, one thing to be careful of is, if you're not familiar with the Dusknoir package and everything, there are 2 cards in the format that currently stop him from doing his job. There's Psyduck, and there's also Battle Cage, so we need to be mindful of Battle Cage. I've not seen too much Battle Cage, but we still need to be careful of it. I've seen plenty of Psyduck, so we do need to be mindful of that. Obviously, we hopefully can deal with the Psyduck early. We are also playing a 1-1 Pidgeot line in here, just for a little bit of extra consistency. May not get to bench it, but it's just nice to have it in here. It's worked really nicely to just have the option to quick search every time. And obviously grab whatever we need. Obviously we have Latias and Bloodmoon for just free pivots and also endgame attacking with the Bloodmoon. And obviously if we let our opponent go down to 1 prize, Bloodmoon attacks for no energy, which is always nice to have. So, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. Welcome to the deck list. So, as you can see, we obviously are playing quite a high count of Switch in here, and obviously a very big Dusknoir line. Obviously, we don't really play a way to recover the Dusknoirs, like we have the Night Stretchers and stuff, but ultimately this list's job is to pretty much win fast and win hitting hard. And obviously that's the whole point of the Curse Blast and everything like that. Now, as for consideration cards, which I'd normally leave until after we go through the cards, one thing I will say is if you are worried about Battle Cage, put a second stadium in this list. I've not had the need to do it because I've not really ran into the Battle Cage or the Psyduck. Obviously, I've increased the boss count because of Psyduck. Obviously, being able to take out the Psyduck is always nice, but, you know, having a stadium bump for Battle Cage could be important. So obviously we are playing a 4-2-4 line of the Duskull Dusknoir package. 2-2 Mega Lopunny, 2 Mega Kangaskhan, a 1-1 or 101 if you want to be more specific, Pidgeot line, 1 Latias, 1 Bloodmoon, 1 Ditto, and 1 Klefki. Klefki is pretty much our counter to, well, the duck itself, pretty much. Obviously, given, you know, like we're playing double boss, you could argue that the Klefki could go. But at the same time, boss is your support for turn, where you really want to be playing things like Hilda and Ciphermaniac. So keeping the Klefki in the list is actually quite advised. Then, of course, for Hilda, to obviously grab our special jet, or our special energy, and of course, evolutions. For Ciphermaniac, for just general purpose draw, because obviously we can Kangaskhan, well, we can Ciphermaniac, then Kangaskhan for it. 2 boss, 4 candy, 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 switch, which, again, you could argue this could be cut down to like 3 or 2. 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Nest Ball, 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Vitality Band. This lets us hit Raging Bolt for 240, which is always nice to have. 1 Artazon, 4 Jet Energy, and for our A-Spec, 1 Enriching Energy. Now, of course, unlike the done sparse builds, we cannot recycle this Enriching Energy. But I'll be honest, that is not a problem. The Enriching is just here for extra draw, and it does its job very well. It's also another colourless energy, which is always nice to have. And of course, as I said earlier, we may have to use Spiky Hopper. But yeah, so far this list has been pretty good. Like I said, the only main things I'd consider is second Stadium, and potentially a third Buneary. That's another thing you could consider. I've seen some lists playing 2 Ditto, which, you know, I see the reasoning in that. But, you know, it's not really something I don't think you need, per se. Same with the 101 Pidge. You don't have to run this. I've seen some lists putting in a Pidgeot. I don't think that's correct. But, you know, the Pidgeot could be cut, and you could put in something like, I don't know, a second Vitband, because obviously we don't play a way to search this card. Obviously we have the Ciphermaniac plus the Kangaskhan, but that's not always reliable. And obviously we're not always going to want the Vitality Band. But, you know, second Vitband could be something you consider. Badoo is another card to consider as well. That could be something as well. The third Dusclops could also be a consideration if you're whiffing your candies or your item locked, is another strategy. But other than that, this list has felt really good to play. So hopefully I can make it do some work for you. So let's get into some games and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. Let's just swag at a drink then. You'll notice I've changed my, instead of Do You Even Splash Bro, I've changed it to a dad joke. Yeah, I noticed that they added in dad jokes, and well, knowing me, like, you know how I am with my dad jokes. I thought, why not? So, here's another one for you. Why did the Scarecrow get an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Yeah, I know. Shocking, innit? Oh, dad jokes. They're good for the mind, so to speak. Ignition Energy. Oh, I think I know what that this is. This is Greninja with the Dusknoir package. It also plays Pidgeot, so this is going to be down to who blows up a ghost first. And judging by this hand, not me. Okay, we do have something here. And they're going first, so yeah, it's literally going to be down to who blows up a Dusk first. And it's probably going to be him, looking at this. Oh yeah, look at that start. Badoo in the active. Yeah, we're definitely boned in this matchup. Because we don't play our own Badoo, that's the main thing to consider. So I'm going to Ultra Ball away Hilda and Vitality Band. We're not going to need the Vit Band in this matchup. I could grab Kang, but I think the correct line is to grab Ditto. But at the same time, I'm using a Jet to get it into the active. So I don't really want to do that. So I'll grab the Kang. Bench the Kang, Jet the Kang. So I'm going to Ciphermaniac now, because obviously there's certain cards I want on the top. So I want Buddy Poffin, and I kind of want Enriching, because Enriching can get us draw. I'm thinking Enriching is correct. I think that's correct. So obviously we get Buddy Poffin value, and we can attach Enriching next turn. I think that's fair. So then we'll run errand. Draw those two. We'll get the Buddy Poffin. Get the Ditto and the Duskull. And we will pass. I could have probably put a Jet on top, to be brutally honest. But if I don't need to play Enriching, I won't play Enriching. I'll probably want to Hilda for a Jet plus Buneary anyway. Or Lopunny. Technical Machine Crisis Punch. That's interesting. Now, the main thing we have to watch is, of course, the Ninja is, of course, you know, fighting type. Which isn't fun for us, to say the least, but we will deal with it. And there's the Candy Pidge, because, of course, I think they play a 2-1-2 line in that list. I don't remember. Quick search. He could Iono us, but that wouldn't be a problem, because like I said, we have Run Errand and we can just, you know, do stuff. It's not the end of the world. Tenacity. So that means their Grand Tree isn't prized, and yep, there it is. Which means they're taking 3 prizes. Woo! I mean, to be fair, the Grand Tree does help us. The Grand Tree does actually help us. They are going to take 3 prizes, but we could still bounce back from this. I don't care about Shinobi Blade, because guess what? I'm responding. Alright, this just got more interesting. We could respond to this quite easily. Very easily, in fact. So we're not going to be using Enriching this turn, but that is completely fine, because we get Grand Tree value. You saw the 3 prize turn there, my friend, and you got greedy. Now you're going to pay for it. So first of all, we're going to Hilda for a Mega Lopunny and a Jet Energy. We have prized a Jet, but that's not a big deal. Then, we're going to Grand Tree. And start evolving. Then, we'll do that. I don't know why the game did that there. We'll then Jet the Lopunny. I'll then Clops the active. This is risky, but it's our only real line here. And then Gelfrost, take it out. Take 2 prizes. Why do we have to run into the one deck that pretty much hard counters us? Like, come on, bro. I don't know. We don't even get counter catcher value because of this freaking plant. If there's one card I wish would be banned from the format, it'd probably be this. Genuinely. Quick search. He might go for an Iono here, which makes complete sense, but at the same time, Iono bites you in the ass, so you need to be very careful. He could Ghost my Ghost, but I don't think that's correct. Because if I draw Boss, I have this on the wraps, and that's kind of bad for you. I could also just go Enriching, attach here, and hope I draw into Boss. I don't have to take any risks. Poffin, he's going to get multiple Froakies down now. More Ghosts as well. Then he's got a Grand Tree. Probably damage my Ghost, or take out my Ghost. Which would make sense. He could Noir my active, but that makes no sense. Realistically. But it just depends on what he decides to do here. He could Noir my Duskull, but again, that to me wouldn't make a huge amount of sense. Like, that is a valid line, I think, but if he Noirs my active, that's when you're like, huh? And yeah, he's going to take out my Ghost. Fair enough. Let's hope we get something. There's a Boss. That's pretty good. Obviously, now we can't Ghost, so he's really limiting our options here. Because remember, we can't Ghost for 1 prize, because otherwise he just takes game. Fez for 3. Okay, that's fine. And we can't even put Bloodmoon in front of him because Bloodmoon is fighting weak. So that's something to consider. And shuffle back in everything, of course, because this deck, I swear, always has everything. Because I think I got asked by a subscriber to take a look at this deck. That's probably going to be one of the next videos, to be honest, mate. If it's not already out, it probably already is going to be. So let me think. He's down 1 water energy, which, to be honest, they play 4 water energy. It's not going to hugely matter what I do here. I'm going to Enriching, just so I have the draw. Yeah, that did absolutely nothing for us. The only thing I could realistically do is Gust his Froakie. That's literally the only thing. Because I'm with my stadium, I can't bounce to Grand Tree. I just have to hope he doesn't have a water energy. But to be fair, that's stupid. But at the same time, it's my only option. Spiky Hopper for 160. If he's got it, he's got it. There's not much I can do here. Like I said, this matchup is literally down to who blows up and goes first. And, well, you know, it's not exactly easy, this matchup. And judging by how quick he's actually playing, something tells me he's got it. If he's got it, fair enough, as long as he doesn't take the MIG. Because all you literally need is a water energy, and there you go, that's game. Like I said, this matchup is literally who blows up and goes first, and, well, he got to go first, so, you know. And he plays Grand Tree, so there you go. Unfortunate loss, but to be expected given that we're fighting weak. Let's go to a game 2. Of course, in typical PTCG Live fashion, the first thing you get when you play a new deck, because I've not really played this archetype, is of course the matchup that pretty much wars you off, because like I said, they don't have to really do much to take 3 prize cards, so, you know, we are going to go first. We kind of want to go first in this list, but well, we didn't get a choice last time. Okay, Duskull, Nest Ball, that's actually not bad. That is a pretty good starting hand. That's a really good starting hand. Because we can go Buddy Poffin for a Ghost plus Ditto. We can then Nest Ball for a Buneary. So no, I'm pretty happy with that. But to be fair, Kang would actually be better because Kang draws us more cards and, you know... Ooh, okay, this is a Sharpedo. This could be interesting. There's the Kang. That saves us a job. So we'll Buddy Poffin, grab a Buneary and a Duskull. Do I want to get the Pidgey down? I don't think I do. Like, Pidgey's useful, don't get me wrong. Like, he is in there, but obviously we need the Pidgeot to make sense. And yeah, we priced the Pidgeot, so that's fine. That's the only thing about playing a 101 line, is it can get a bit, shall we say, spicy. He can't really attack going first, or going second. Like, he can do Reckless Charge. But I generally couldn't care about that. So we'll jet up the Kangaskhan. And run error for 2. Okay, that's not bad. Is the VIP band relevant? Not really, but I might as well attach it. It's not too relevant. Like, if we... Let me think. Is it actually relevant? Not particularly. I mean... Hold on, no. That math still works. So, no, the VIP band doesn't hugely help us in this matchup, but at the same time, you know, like, it's not a bad thing to have. Like, it's a nice card to have. But obviously we've got 3 Duskulls, a Buneary, and a Kang, so we could easily take out his entire board if we get the right draws. Like I said though, I think this, and yeah, he's got the Psyduck, so that's fine. We can deal with that Psyduck. That's not a major deal. We can deal with that. That's fine. That's why we run the Klefki. And the Klefki was in deck, so that's fine. But yeah, the thing is that obviously with so many cards being countered, or counter to this deck, I just think it's not... Like, I've seen the matchup spread for this deck, and it is not looking good. It's like 46% against God of War. It's, oh, what was the others? It was like 49 against... In fact, no. What was its worst matchup? Its worst matchup was Dragadusk, if memory serves. Its worst matchup from the data was Dragadusk. But, yeah. We obviously do have the Klefki, but it does mean we're not attacking this turn. The only thing we're going to be doing with the Klefki is, you know, nobody doing a lot, to say the least. To be fair, they don't really do... They don't hit 300 unless they play Max Spell like I do. So, I'm tempted to just leave Kang in the active and just Ciphermaniac for draw. And just set up our board. I'm tempted to do that. And there's the Sharpedo. I'm tempted to do that, because like I say, it makes more sense to do that than you might think. Let's see what our top deck is. Another Ciphermaniac. So yeah, I'm just going to Ciphermaniac this turn. I don't really care. We prize a Clops, which could be a concern. Because the thing is I could Ciphermaniac for 2 Duskull or Dusknoirs, and then next turn Ciphermaniac for a Candy and the Buddy-Buddy Poffin so I can get the Klefki down. The issue is I can't really get the Klefki going. So I'm tempted to take Enriching and the Buddy Poffin, because then I at least can, you know, put the Enriching on the Buneary, and then we can jet up the Klefki if we need to. That's my thought process. So I'm going to get the Klefki down, enriching the Buneary for more draw. Okay, I wish I had jetted up the Klefki now, but it's fine. We don't need to do it now. And we will just pass. Because we can retreat at the Klefki. We can go into the Klefki if Kangaskhan somehow goes down. If they play Max Belt, they can kill the Kangaskhan. But again, we can counter, so it's not a big deal. Sinister Surge. I don't think they play a way of making this guy hit 300. Most lists actually don't, and it's quite concerning, because obviously Mega Sharpedo is actually looking a pretty good Mega in the format right now. Obviously the list that you saw in my video has changed a little bit. I've ordered the cards. It should be here in the next couple of days or so. Hope to take it to locals as well. That'd be it's quite a fun deck, I must admit. I don't play the Psyduck, but if the meta is going to be a lot of Dusknoir, I might just play the Psyduck. So there's Energy Switch and Super Rod. He's got the Monkey, but Monkey means he's a little bit off, which is good for us. Because what we can do this turn is we can Ciphermaniac for Lopunny, and we can also do... what is it? What's the card? We can do another Dusk. Okay, he's putting it on the Buneary, which makes no sense. Reckless Charge for 30. Sure. Whatever floats your boat, my friend. There's a Hilda. That's not going to be too useful. So, I Ciphermaniac... well, in fact, I don't need to grab a Lopunny. I can just grab Candy Dusk. Because I can Ultra Ball for the Lopunny. So yeah, I think that makes sense. So we take Dusk and we take Candy. Then we run errand. That's fine. So then Ultra Ball away, Night Stretcher and Boss. Grab the Bunny. Jet the Klefki. That's why we play it. So now Psyduck is offline. We then double Candy for Dusk. And we do that. Obviously, we don't want to retreat the Klefki until after we've blown up our Ghost. That's something to bear in mind. Curse Blast, take out the Duck. So now we'll take a prize card. I'll probably take out the Monkey here, because taking out the Monkey makes the most sense, I think. There's another Dusk. That's pretty good to have. So then we'll Curse Blast. Take out the Monkey. Down goes that. And then we will, after we take our prize card, we can retreat the Klefki into the Lopunny and go from there. That's a pretty good prize card to get well. So we'll retreat into the Bunny and Gale for us for 240. Not bad at all. I can't complain about that whatsoever. That is really good. There's our Lopunny out of prizes. That was a solid turn. Obviously, if they come up with the Sharpedo to like do 270, we can actually take it out. It won't be too hard for us to do that. We just need our Jet, and that's it. Because we can evolve into Dusknoir, blow it up on the Sharpedo, unless they play Hero's Cape, which could make things tricky. But no, this is looking really good for us. But obviously, that can very easily change. They could play Max Belt for all I know. Max Belt, they need air, or they need Max Belt Air Balloon. So, yeah, there is still a world in which my opponent wins this, but, you know. So far, we've not even got to use the Pidge line, which is interesting. But it's fine. It's not a big deal. So there's a Nest Ball. What are they grabbing off of this? They could grab, because I've been playing this card, there's a Brute Bonnet. I can't remember the set number or what set it's from. Okay, they're grabbing the Fez. That's fine. There's a particular card that that's been useful for. There's a particular brute bonnet, and it does. I think its first attack is poison spray, and then the other one is like I can't remember the name of it, but it's 3 dark, and it does 50 plus for every damage count on your opponent's Pokemon. That'd be a really good card to have in this matchup if my opponent has it. I've been playing it in my Sharpedo build, and it is cracked. If you can get monkeys established early, it is such a good card. There's Petron. Petron's a nice, easy target. But obviously, Petron does, of course, need you to poison the Sharpedo, but that math doesn't hugely matter, to be fair. There's another Mega Sharpedo, so if he leaves this in the active, we can kill this. He needs to retreat the Sharpedo. Is he going into the one with Greedy Fang? Yep. I think that's what he's doing here. Sinister Surge. Obviously, he's already retreated for turn. So he's sending a Dark Energy out. If he Greedy Fangs here, we have game pretty much. Okay, he's got Hungry Jaws, but again, with no Max Spell, that's not a knockout, Chief. We pretty much have game here now, folks. So let's do a Buddy Poffin just to check, because all I need is a Jet Energy. And yeah, we've got Jets in there, so that's fine. We have game. So all we'll do is we'll evolve. Then Hilda for you two. We have to retreat the Buddy first into the Kang, because then we reset the effect. Then Curse Blast, hit the Shark. They take a prize card. Jet into the Lopunny. And that is game against Sharpedo. That's why you played the Max Belt. And that's a 3-prizer. So that's game. There's our Pidgeot, and there's our Ditto as well. Not a bad game. Let's go to game 3. And welcome back to game 3. That went pretty smoothly, I think. You know, that went reasonably smooth. Obviously, it did get a bit shaky, because obviously we kind of relied on them not having a Binding Mochi or anything like that. But like I said, most lists actually don't really play damage mods. Like, they play maybe 1 or 2 Binding Mochi, but then you have to poison your Sharpedo. Like, I think Max Spell in Mega Sharpedo is surprisingly good, and people need to respect it. And we're going first. That's completely fine with me, Chief. Although, with a mulligan, not so much. It's fine. It's completely fine. And only 1 mulligan, but we do basically give away the deck. That's fine. So we'll just go into Pidgey. Hopefully we can actually use the Pidgeot line. That's kind of what I put it in here. Oh great, it's another Dusk. Well, we do get a cracked hand. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, our Ditto's prized, which is kind of bad, because I'd love to go into Kang right now. We've only got 1 Kang, but we do have the we do have this in there. Also, our Psyduck is prized. Should I grab second Buneary here? I think I do, just to play it safe. And I'll just pass. I'll accept that start. That's not a bad start. I'd have loved the Ditto though, because I could have switched into it, gone into the Kang, got some free draw. Oh, I know what you're playing. You're playing Our Believer. Okay, okay. I respect that. I respect the hustle, mate. I respect that hustle. I think, because Our Believer's really slept on. It's kind of a shame. I do like the card. It's a nice card. It doesn't do, like, too much damage. But with the build that I did, because if you don't remember, if you're new to the channel, I have done Our Believer with the Dusknoir package. It's alright. It's not a bad deck. It's just, it's a bit outdated in this format, because obviously Lopunny's just better, I think. But, you know. There's an Ultra Ball. And what they're going to grab here. Get rid of Shaman. Yeah, that's not going to help you, mate. Shaman don't stop nothing. There's the Our Believer. I wouldn't have grabbed the Arboliva here, mate. I'd have grabbed another Smoliv, because if I get the right draws, this is game. Let's see what we get. There's a boss. Well, we're not going to be playing that right now. So we're going to Hilda, take the Lopunny, and the Enriching Energy, because we have the Switch in hand. Enriching the Buneary. Oh, we are one card off it. God damn it. We would have had game then, but no. We can switch into Kang, actually. But we'd need to draw a switch off of Kang. We need to draw a switch plus Rare Candy off of Kang. Which is a good chance. Let's have a look at the deck first before we commit to that. 3 candies. How many switch? 3 switch. Is it worth it? I don't know. I'll get the Kang down anyway. I think I just take out the Ghost. Because the most he'll take is 2 prizes with the Arboliva. And I can deal with it. But, you know what? Let's do it for the content. Let's take the risk. We need Switch plus Rare Candy. That's not a Switch. I mean, I can evolve the Bunny anyway. It's not a big deal. But that is so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. We could have had it there. That is so unfortunate. It's not a big deal, but, like, you know, I kind of had to go for that play because we could have had game there. Oh, they don't evolve into the Arboliva? Nah, now you're just teasing, man. That is 100% game. Because we just go Ciphermaniac for... We need Candy. And we need Jet to get the Lopunny into the active. Are you going to Nutrients me? No, you're going to tackle me for 40. Go on, do it. Tackle me for 40, mate. Go on. There's some grass. Please tell me you're going to tackle me for 40. Go on. Do it for the content, mate. Yes! That's what I want. That's what I want. Respect, mate. Respect. Well, there's the candy. That's pretty much it. So we just need to Ciphermaniac. In fact, why am I grabbing that? We literally just need Switch. We literally just need Switch and that's game. But we have to put 2 cards on top because Ciphermaniac's like that. So I'll just do that. And then Run Errand. Candy. Dusk. I could put the Pidge down, but then I'm BMing, technically speaking. No, don't do that. I meant to click the Ghost, but he's conceded anyway. I'll take that. That's a nice easy win against Arboliva. Arboliva just takes too long to set up. And, well, it's a good card, but I just don't think it hits relevant weakness right now. And even then, the Oil Salvo attack doesn't do weakness. And, you know, it's only good if you can get it going, like, if you go first and, like, you know, you can get it going turn 2, is, excuse me, is when Arboliva is actually good. Otherwise, it just falls a bit short. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck is really fun. I don't think, obviously, the Pidge line is worth it. I wanted to play it because in testing, it was surprisingly good, but we didn't even use it once this video. And obviously, I could have used it then, but then I'm BMing my opponent, and I don't want to do that. You know, there's no reason to waste that person's time. You know, they had a brick start. They even tackled me for 40, so I have to give them respect for that. You know, I'm not going to waste someone's time who does that. You know, like there's a couple of people at my locals who would have done that exact play and just gone, you know what, sod it, I'll tackle for 40. Someone at my locals would have done that, and you know, I'm going to treat that person like they are at my locals. I'm going to respect them. So I'm not going to waste their time by going Rare Candy Pidge, Rare Candy Dust, or going into Pidge with Quick Search, Rare Candy Dusknoir, etc. I'm not going to do that. But no, I can see where this deck falls short. It's very much relying on your opponent not getting a great start. You also need a banging hand to get this thing going. And obviously, if if you prize important pieces, like obviously we prized our Ditto, we prized the Klefki, can get a little bit dicey. So obviously I've given my initial improvements on what to do in the decklist part. If you've skipped the decklist part, go back and check, because obviously I did mention a few cards. First thing I'm going to say here though in the outro part is cut the Pidge line. You don't need it. Genuinely, I don't think you need it. I only played it because I thought, well, it's an extra way to grab a card that I need. But the problem is with a 101 Pidge, you're always bound to prize a piece, and by the time you've got that piece back, the game might as well be over. So to be brutally honest with you, cut the Pidgey for a second Ditto, and cut the Pidgeot for a Bidoo. That could be a nice thing to do. As for A-Spec, enriching is really good, but you could get away with playing something like Grand Tree. But like the Greninja deck, you're giving your opponent that as well, so that could be quite risky. But other than that, I've really enjoyed playing this deck. It surprised me with how good it is. Obviously, it does have a couple of issues, which that's mainly due to me playing the 101 Pidge. But as I said, if you cut the Pidgey and the Pidgeot for the cards that I mentioned, the second Ditto, and of course the Bidoo, I think this deck will get even better. But anyway, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Lopunny with the Dusknoir package, and I'll see you next time.